alleges that the President of the United States, has taken $5 million or more in bribes from a foreign nation.
The document has already been released pursuant to a subpoena to the House Oversight Committee.
Has it been released to this committee?
We will work with this committee within the parameters that are established to meet the request.
Will you release the document to the public? It's unclassified. Don't you think the American people have a right to see it?
Senator, the document, as you know, contains sensitive information that has bearing on the life of the source of the information, potentially.
You can redact the source's name. We do this all the time.
In some instances, Senator, and I know you know this, that is not sufficient to protect people. And that's what we strive and work to do each and every day. And I hope you would take that seriously, too.
Oh, I take it very seriously. But I also take seriously the fact that your institution has repeatedly abused its authority, has repeatedly targeted political opponents. Your institution is the one that went to the...
Wow. If you just watched that clip and your jaw isn't on the floor, I don't know what to tell you because mine absolutely is. What you just saw is Senator Josh Hawley doing what very few people in that building have the backbone to do. Holding the most powerful law enforcement agency in the world accountable, to their face on the record, in front of the entire country. Before we get into the full video, I want to be clear. I'm not here to cheerlead for any political party. I don't care about red or blue. What I care about is the truth, and whether the people who are supposed to serve us are actually doing that. What we're about to watch is a masterclass in asking the questions that the FBI clearly does not want to answer. We're talking about an unclassified document that allegedly shows the sitting president of the United States was paid $5 million in bribes by a foreign government. We're talking about nearly 280,000 unauthorized searches on American citizens' private data. We're talking about an institution that lied to a federal court to spy on a presidential campaign, and when asked who got fired for it, the answer is basically crickets. And the FBI's guy sitting across from Hawley? Giving non-answers, word salads, and moving goalposts the whole time. And Hawley is having absolutely none of it. Stay right here because we are going to break this down piece by piece. I promise you, it only gets more infuriating. If you believe in government transparency and that no institution should be above the law, hit that subscribe button right now because this is exactly what we cover on this channel. Let's get into it.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Senator Hawley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Abadi, let me just stay with you. You just started to answer Senator Blackburn's question that not releasing the 1023 or talking about it as a matter of life and death. Question of life and death, you said. Explain.
It is potentially a question of life and death
For whom?
With regard to the source of the information.
So, okay, so now we've confirmed that the document exists. That's progress because the FBI director initially denied that it exists. Why did he do that?
We have already and previously acknowledged the existence of the documents.
Yeah, after you first denied it. Now, when a member of this committee read it, right, the FBI director, let's just get the record straight. The FBI director initially said it doesn't exist. Then Senator Grassley said, I've read it. Then he said, oh, okay, well, gotcha. I guess it does exist. Now you're going back and forth with members of this committee what's in it. Why don't you just release it? Is it classified?
The document is not classified.
Okay. Will you commit to releasing it?
Senator, we'll take that back and we will work with you and this committee.
How about just a yes or no? Will you commit to releasing this unclassified document that alleges that the President of the United States, has taken $5 million or more in bribes from a foreign nation?
The document has already been released pursuant to a subpoena to the House Oversight Committee.
Has it been released to this committee?
We will work with this committee within the parameters that are established to meet the request.
Will you release the document to the public? It's unclassified. Don't you think the American people have a right to see it?
Senator, the document, as you know, contains sensitive information that has bearing on the life of the source of the information, potentially.
You can redact the source's name. We do this all the time.
In some instances, Senator, and I know you know this, that is not sufficient to protect people. And that's what we strive and work to do each and every day. And I hope you would take that seriously, too.
Oh, I take it very seriously. But I also take seriously the fact that your institution has repeatedly abused its authority, has repeatedly targeted political opponents. Your institution is the one that went to the door of pro-life protesters with SWAT teams to try and intimidate people because of their speech. Your institution is the one that treated parents as domestic terrorists because of their speech. Your institution is the one that, according to the court, the FISA court, ran 278,000 unwarranted, probably illegal queries on Americans, right? That was your institution, correct?
With respect to the compliance incidents, yes, some of the other things you cited, we can take them one by one. They are not.
Compliance, you would characterize the unlawful querying 278,000 times of American citizens as compliance issues?
We've said before, I've said that totally unacceptable.
Who's been fired for it?
Individuals involved are handled through the disciplinary process.
Who's been fired for it?
We have, in the case of the unintentional instance where something similar happened, we have fired people in the past.
Wait, I'm sorry. What does that word salad mean? The unintentional instance where what does that mean? Who's been fired for the 278,000 times that you improperly or illegally queried the database for American citizens? Anybody?
When we find intentional incidents.
Were you saying that the 278,000 queries were unintentional?
I believe that's correct.
Wow, 278,000 times American citizens' information was queried by your agency unintentionally? That's your testimony?
I would want to go back and check that, Senator. But
well, that's what you just told me.
My understanding is that the vast majority of
Well, wait, that's different. You just said it was. You just said it was unintentional. Now it's the vast majority. Which is it? Do you know?
I would want to go back and check it.
So you don't know?
My understanding is that likely all were unintentional.
Likely all. So first it was all of them, then it was vast majority. Now it's likely all. So you don't know is the answer to the question.
I don't know the answer as we sit here today, but I will find out.
Could have started with that probably. Who was fired for the lies to the FISA court for the Carter Page warrant? Who was fired for that? Anybody? Has anybody been held accountable for your institution deliberately lying to a FISA court to get a wiretap on an ongoing presidential campaign?
There is an ongoing disciplinary process with respect to individuals involved in that.
Here's the deal. You're back in front of us asking for the reauthorization of extraordinary authorities. Multiple courts have uncovered extraordinary abuses perpetrated by your agency. You are at the same time concealing information about serious allegations made against the President of the United States, even as your institution also targets his chief political opponent in an unprecedented way. Why would we ever give you the blank check that you want to continue surveilling American citizens in an improper manner? Why would we ever do that?
Senator, we're here to talk about reforms today. I did get confirmation that the query...
No, we're not. We're here to talk about the reauthorization of Section 702. Why would we reauthorize it, given your track record of abuse and illegal improper surveillance and political targeting? Why would we do that? Why would it be appropriate for this body to do that?
We've made significant reforms and implemented corrective measures. We've seen significant progress as a result of that, Senator. The queries that you mentioned early were, in fact, unintentional. That's what I was just told by my counterpart.
That is an amazing...
The earlier question.
So your testimony is the 280,000 queries of American citizens was unintentional. That's your final answer?
That's how they were assessed by that team that did the review. I'm not satisfied with that. That's why we've implemented further measures, as I announced earlier today.
Yeah, I don't believe that at all. And frankly, we've heard from your agency 1,000 times that you're going to do better, will do better. You promised after the abuses of Title I you'd do better, and then we find out that in the meantime you're illegally querying 280,000 American citizens' data. It's unbelievable, frankly. Everything you say is unbelievable.
Senator Tillis?
Okay, we just watched the whole thing. Let's go through this properly. First of all, Hawley came prepared. He didn't walk in there to grandstand or read talking points off a sheet. He came in with a specific document, specific numbers, specific incidents, and he was not moving until he got real answers. That is what congressional oversight is supposed to look like. We just almost never see it done this well. On the 1023 document, the FBI director initially denied this document even existed, and only acknowledged it after Senator Grassley said he had read it with his own eyes. That alone should alarm everyone watching, regardless of your politics. You cannot trust an institution that lies about whether evidence exists. That is not a miscommunication. That is a deliberate attempt to hide information from the United States Senate. And what is the document? It allegedly shows the sitting president received $5 million in bribes from a foreign nation. $5 million. From a foreign government. And the FBI's response is basically, trust us, you can't see it. Hawley nailed the redaction argument too. The FBI claimed redacting the source's name wouldn't be enough to protect them. Maybe in some extreme cases that's true. But this is an unclassified document. If the president is compromised by a foreign government, the American people have a right to know that. Sitting on that information indefinitely and calling it source protection is not transparency. It is a cover-up dressed in bureaucratic language. On the 280,000 illegal queries. This is the part one genuinely could not believe. A federal court found that the FBI ran somewhere between 278,000 and 280,000 unwarranted searches on American citizens' private data. That is not a glitch. That is not a rounding error. That is a systematic invasion of privacy on a massive scale. And the officials' response? Compliance incidents. Nearly 280,000 violations of Americans' Fourth Amendment rights, and they call them compliance incidents. That language is designed to make you feel like nothing serious happened. But something very serious happened. The FBI was spying on Americans it had no legal right to spy on. Almost 300,000 times. Then when Hawley asks who got fired, the official says the unintentional instance where something similar happened. Hawley asked the exact right question. What does that mean? Because it means absolutely nothing. It is designed to make you nod along and move on. And Hawley refused to move on. On the shifting testimony. This was almost embarrassing to watch. In the space of about 2 minutes, the official's testimony changed 3 times on the exact same question. First, the queries were all unintentional. Then it was the vast majority. Then it was likely all. Hawley caught every single shift and did not let one slide. That is what a senator is supposed to do in a hearing. You hold the witness to their own words. You don't let them reframe and retreat. Hawley pinned him down, and the official had nowhere to go. On Section 702 reauthorization. This is what the whole hearing was building toward, and Hawley's final argument is genuinely hard to counter. He said, "You are asking us to reauthorize your extraordinary surveillance powers while concealing evidence about the president, while having been caught running 280,000 illegal searches on American citizens, while having lied to a federal court to spy on a presidential campaign, and nobody has been fired for any of it. So why would we give you more power?" I don't have a good answer to that. And clearly neither did the official. The response was basically, we've made reforms, we've made progress. Which, after everything we just watched, lands with about as much credibility as a student telling their teacher the dog ate their homework. For the 3rd year running. Final take. I know some of you have opinions about Josh Hawley that have nothing to do with what happened in this room. That's fine. But if you can set that aside and watch this exchange on its own merits, what you see is a senator who did his homework, caught a senior government official changing his story in real time, and asked one of the most important questions any oversight body can ask. If no one is ever held accountable, why should we trust you with more power? That is not a partisan question. That is a question every American should be demanding an answer to. Because an FBI that lies about documents, illegally surveils citizens by the hundreds of thousands, deceives federal courts, and faces zero real consequences is something that should concern all of us equally. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to know what you think, whether you agree with me or not. Share it with someone who needs to see it. And I'll see you in the next one.